Hello, everyone. Welcome back. MTL Sports here on episode 159. All right. Some unfortunate playoff losses have happened. Four teams are already bounced out. We still got, four more series left. But of those four playoff teams, we will discuss their seasons. How do they look, going forward? Is there any major moves going to happen in their offseason? So, with all that being said, guys, stay tuned. Let's get into this. NBA playoffs round one is almost done. Some of the games kick off this Sunday. Like I know the Pacers and Cavs game one is this Sunday in Cleveland. But we still got a couple series going on. The Nuggets up 3-2. Lakers play tonight. Warriors up 3-1. They're currently playing now. We're recording on Wednesday. I think that's pretty much it. So let's get into this. Let's start off with I think it's probably we just talked about it offline, but probably the most disappointing and kind of tragic playoff losses, and maybe even once we get into it, just runs for a team. The Bucks bounced again in the first round. Dame towards Achilles game 4. Remember he was had a blood clot in one of his left leg. Came back in game 2, game 4 towards Achilles. He's older. I think he's 33, 34. So it's going to be tough for him to come back. How would you grade their season overall? I know they had a bunch of injuries. And their roster was already going into the season a little shaky. They make the trade for Kyle Kuzma. In my opinion, doesn't really trade off. How would you grade their season, Lawrence? And what did they do from here?
Well, I kind of grade their season. It wasn't their fault at the end. I'd still give them like a B. Like at least you made the playoffs. Like that's the best we can give you. Like B minus. Like
Yep.
But other than that, like you can't predict the Dame Lillard thing. But like the future of your team, it really does start to like really hit you because like is Giannis gonna like ask out? Or not ask out, but ask for a trade? Because I mean, he don't want to be up in there anymore because that team has no future draft picks, no nothing. Like, they're just going to suck for a little bit, kind of, sort of. They got a bunch of old guys. You can't really resign. Bobby Porter's maybe like the only one. Just a lot of journeymen just coming through the doors there. No real structure anymore.
Yeah, no, I agree. You hit all the points. Basically, they don't have control of any of their draft picks going forward. They have one pick they can trade, either 2031 or 2032. It's only one draft pick to make a move way out in the future when you probably need it, because at this point, the writing's on the wall. This iteration of the Bucks has to come to an end. I think this was their last run. Like you said, no one could have predicted, first of all, Dame having the blood clots, going late into the regular season, and then unfortunately tearing his Achilles, which honestly at this point he's probably gonna be out most, if not all, next year. So, and they got a bunch of free agents. You see right here, Brook Lopez, he's old. Bobby Portis, player option. He's probably the only one worth re-signing, honestly. Pat Connaughton, I know he had a good game. I think the last game in the regular season he dropped like 40 or something, but other than that, you really don't hear Pat Connaughton's name like that. Kevin Porter Jr., he's a wild card. One night he's fantastic, the next night he doesn't even play, or he's just out there doing cardio. And the same with the rest of the guys. I'm not going to keep going down the list, but the roster's just not in a good shape. They don't have the assets to really get any better. Kyle Kuzma doesn't look like he fits in Milwaukee. So if you're Giannis, do you really go into next season with you and Kyle Kuzma and Bobby Portis? Like, at that point, you just as bad as some of these other teams in the East, like, the Hawks and Miami. You're going to be in that same group without Dame. So if I'm Giannis, I'm asking to move, because you can't have a honest conversation about getting better, because how can you get better? You don't have anything that people want. Now, in terms of asking out, if it does come to that, Lawrence, what do you think of some potential destinations? Maybe give me a team in the East and a team in the West.
I personally don't think anyone in the East is gonna get him. Just putting it out there. I just feel like there's gonna be too much of an asking price for the Milwaukee Bucks. I get he's generational and all, but I feel like the asking price is just way too high. But if I had to go like two teams for the West, a big one that stands out at me is kind of the Thunder. You still have pieces to give that are part of the puzzle. You have good guys that you've developed and that score constantly. But if you had a Giannis, it'd be so much better. Kind of deal. I think the Thunder are strong for it. And then oddly enough, like a team, I would say more so like towards the cusp of getting things. I think they have a lot of draft picks. I think that's the Rockets as well. I think they have some draft picks, but I feel like they also have some depth piece that they can also send up. I mean, you'd probably be trading some kind of huge asset from the Rockets, but you can make it back up because if with one thing, you can get Van Vliet and then whatever other big man you want from Houston and probably some other bench player who is putting up good times in the playoffs out of them, and they'll take it because they want Giannis, and they can plug a hole with one of the people they'll depart.
Fair enough. I like those two teams. I think for me, if we go in the East, obviously the teams that are mentioned on the national media, the Knicks aren't going to make that trade. They really don't have the assets the Bucks will want, unless you're willing to give up Cat, and I don't think they're going to give up on Cat after 1 year. Miami, I think they're at the bottom of the totem pole. They're going to, of course, be in the running, but with only 3 draft picks, you probably would have to give up Bam or Hero to actually make it worth the Bucks' while. I don't see them breaking up the Hero Bam core, at least not yet. So if I had to go a team in the East, maybe the Magic. I think the Magic need scoring, no matter where it's from. Honestly, I know they need shooters, but honestly, if they can get Giannis in his prime, he's a 30-10 guy, easily 30-12 guy. Easily could hop right in, play alongside Paulo. Paulo can score all 3 levels. Giannis is, mostly in the paint. Plays good defense too, which he fits in right pretty well with their, defensive-minded, defensive-first type of approach. So I would go Magic. I know the Nets are also a team that's, for whatever reason, they really trying to get Giannis, but y'all don't have anybody. Like you legit don't have anybody. So I don't think the Giannis would even think of heading to Brooklyn. So for the East, I got the Magic. For the West, honestly, I got the Spurs. The Spurs are in the same spot as the Rockets and the Thunder as in terms of just having a lot of picks. I think if you get Wemby, you get Giannis on the same team. Wemby's the 5, Giannis plays the 4. And then you got Castle, just won Rookie of the Year. If you can get them some more shooters, I think that'll be pretty damn good team. But they got to find the shooters for that. And you got Coach Pop. Hopefully he comes back. If you got a good coach behind you, behind those two, they're going to be formidable in the West. I think at the very least, there'll be a hard first run out with Giannis, even if they don't get the shooters this upcoming offseason. So those are the 2 teams I was thinking of, but I definitely could see the Thunder, even though the fit, I really don't like the fit with the Thunder, but if they wanted to make that move, I definitely wouldn't be opposed. So yeah, we gotta keep an eye on this. I think he's gonna meet with the front office probably pretty soon, probably before the draft, honestly, to see their future. I mean, if they wanted to be aggressive about it, yeah, they'd probably try to get some draft picks for this draft and just turn this thing around and just start rebuilding. But we'll have to see about that. Next up, we get the Magic. They got eliminated also. What are your thoughts about the Magic? They're pretty much in the same spot as last year. They started off this year hot again, and then kind of cooled off. they had a lot of injuries. Paulo got hurt, Franz got hurt, his brother Mo got hurt. Just a lot of injuries to go around the team. The injury bug really got them. So how would you rate their team? And will they finally get some offense, Lawrence? Will they finally get some fucking offense?
Well, they definitely need someone to score points, but I think the huge thing for the Magic is they were in on paper. We didn't really get to see it all out, but they were a better team than they were last year,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is pretty important. It was just the injury bug, but in reality, it's still the same. Even when everyone was healthy, they weren't putting up points. It was all defensive effort, and honestly, it was just a really good ability to play at home and just beat the people you need to beat on the road. I feel like that's what they did time and time again, more so than other teams. What they need to do, as in terms of pieces, I don't think anyone really gets enticed by Orlando. Quite honest, I mean, you get to play Apollo, but outside of him, there isn't any amazing, shout out like gotta go play with, gotta go, gotta go take it with that guy. Like I get it, Wagner's good. He has games that he's off, and those games that he's off, there's also nobody on, so they're even lowering scoring games. So maybe you do have to move off the two twins and just keep one. But you got to bring in something that can score points consistently.
Yeah, I agree with you. And we said this last time. Last time we did this, just I think it was about the same time as now. We said, hey, they need offense, and what did they do? They go out and get more defense. They got KCP, albeit a little older KCP. He can still move those puppies and still defend and hit some timely threes. But they need someone that can score. What we'll be thinking, like 20 points a game at least. To
I would
pair
say
Apollo.
20s. I would say if you get rid of Wagner in order to make it happen, you got to have
Yeah.
20 plus. If you keep Wagner, 15 plus. I need a consistent. I'm not one talking about right at 15. I'm talking 15 plus. On his bad nights,
Mm,
it's 15. On his bad nights,
yeah, no, I agree with that. We need at least 15 plus, 15 to 20, and that 20 range would be probably like the bare minimum. And then if you can get a guy that's 20 plus, then you go get that guy. Damn it, if he's not a defensive, if he's a defensive liability, screw it. You just need the points at this point because as you've seen with the Celtics series, like they can hold the good teams defensively. They just go through scoring droughts. And it's been like this for like almost 3 years now. So they gotta do some serious searching out there for some talent that can get them over this hump. For me, I mean, I give them a B. They were better this year just because of everyone getting better, a lot of young guys getting better. So, but once they get the scoring thing fixed, I think they will be a top 4 team in the East. But until then, they're gonna be in the same spot. Maybe they go after Trae Young. Like I said, defensive liability, but Trae Young can get you 25 and 10 easily. Maybe on this team, he gets you 30 and 10. He could definitely do that. I think he averaged 1 year in Atlanta around 30 and 10. So that's one guy that's, name's been out there. Maybe they go for KD. Do you like that? Which one do you like more? Trae, KD? We just talked about Giannis. Which one of those guys you think
I think
make?
the bigger ad is Trae because of
Mm-hmm.
all the strengths that they have on defense outside of that make up for Trae's lack of ability and defense.
Yeah, I agree with that one. 100%. So we'll see what kind of moves they got up their sleeve. Moving on, the Grizz. The Grizz are an interesting spot, at least in my opinion. They were at one point really, really good. They were second in the West, as you can see right here, 36 and 18. Then Jaw got hurt. Then a lot of other people started getting hurt. They fired their coach. So a lot of turmoil happened in like the last third of the season. Um, I mean, that's all you can say, really. It's just turmoil. Unfortunate stuff happened. Um, how would you grade their season? And do the Grizz break up this core? Do they try to switch things up, or do they just ride the course with a new coach? What do you think?
I think they've had too many pieces added to not keep trying it, and they
Mm-hmm.
haven't really gone that far with it. But in my opinion, there isn't anything holding them back. I think it's just always injuries. or just dumb stuff. I mean, maybe it literally was just the fact that their coach didn't have control of Ja and just letting them put up gun signs and gang signs on the, all that. Maybe that's what is the problem, and Mans need to be put in his place. I don't know. There's obviously something deeper lying, but I don't think that. I think they're just at where they're at in terms of a cap until they bring in something different. And I'm not talking about getting rid of anything. I'm talking about bringing it in to see what can couple with this pair. Because anything they have and they've tried to use throughout has just not worked.
Yeah, I agree.
Consistent basis.
This year and then 2 years ago before Josh started having all those problems off the court, they were high seeds in the West at some point, and then the 1 year they get bounced by Golden State. Well, no, they got bounced by the Lakers, right? When they were 2 seed, the Lakers were the 7 seed, and then I think Golden State beat them 1 year. So they have the talent. At points, you see it as proof to their record. At some points, they're the top 2-3 seeds in the West at some points. But whether it was the coach, whether it was Ja, whether it was injuries, they always kind of tail off towards the end. So, I mean, to me, it's a combination of things. The coach definitely, he needed to go, maybe not during the season, but he definitely was letting stuff slide that he shouldn't. Like a coach like Doc's not letting that slide. A coach like Spo isn't letting that slide. Ty Lue isn't letting some of that stuff that Ja does slide. So it's definitely a coaching thing right there. But also some of these players, they've been together for so long and you can't get out the first round. That to me just screams you got to break it up. You don't have to break up the whole thing, but it was the Four Musketeers, Bane, Ja, Brooks, Jaren Jackson Jr. That core didn't work, so they told Dylan Brooks, "Hey, don't come back. We don't want you back." And now the trio, Bane, Ja, Triple J, same thing. You get the same results. So I think you gotta switch it up one more time. Bane's probably the odd man out, in my opinion. Triple J might be all NBA. If he's all NBA, you just give him his money. Then you just go forward with Ja and him. If not, I think they're talking about if he doesn't make all NBA and it's not Supermax eligible, it might be time to trade him because he's only going to sign for a Supermax. So if that happens, maybe you go that route. I don't see them moving off of Ja just yet because he has been getting hurt a lot. So you probably try one more time with Ja just to see if you can really rely on him, and then maybe you look to move him. But out of the two names I just mentioned, which one do you think should go and would make the team better if they can get something good back in return?
What I would say is something the JJJ is something they can't leave. They can't move off. They can't get rid of that. I feel it has to be either Ja or Desmond Bane, which I might have a hot take for, but I feel like it's Ja.
Ooh, okay.
It's more so him the problem every season. Either he's, doing the gun thing or injuries. To be honest, Desmond Bane is playing every game. And
he is.
He's putting up points every single game, and it just feels like you shouldn't get rid of the piece that's not causing any kinks in the gears. There is no. He doesn't have any bad teeth in his gear. He's perfectly cruising. He's perfectly moving the team as it needs. He is an asset. There's been one guy who's been the problem twice or multiple off seasons. Like, it shouldn't be on the person who's not.
Yeah, no, I agree. Although, I would want to move Bane first. Maybe give Ja one more chance with a new coach. But, hey, if you want to move Ja, that's fine too. And then
because you can get everything for Ja, you can get a lot for Ja. You can get way more for Ja than you can get for Desmond Bane. And honestly, I feel like the media is also going to think that you're trying to train Bane more so. So you come to a team with, okay, I'll give you a chance at Ja. What do you offer me? Like, someone might give you something. Someone might give you something good.
Yeah, what do you think the going rate for Ja is? Two first rounders, 3 first rounders? 4 maybe.
So personally, I would think it's 3 first rounders and like at least one of your above average decent players minimum.
Yeah.
I mean, hilariously enough, if they do say that Triple J is available, if Dallas doesn't come knocking immediately and we're all in on defense, then I feel like we got some talking to do.
Hey, Dallas, they have a couple picks. Yeah, I think that'll be a good fit. I mean, can you imagine Anthony Davis and Triple J as your 2 front court players? I mean, they're going to wreak havoc. That's just 2 guys that can block any shot, defend basically all 5 positions, and they can score 20 plus a game. I like it.
Yeah, and they probably gave him a supermax because he's all about that defense.
I can get down with that. Yeah, I think Ja probably goes for at the very least 2 firsts and a really good player. Because you're probably trying to match equal value. Because this team isn't too far from contending. You don't want to completely tear it down, so you want to get somebody similar to the Lakers trade, but definitely a lot better, right? You want more than 1 first round pick, so I'm thinking 2 first rounders plus a really good player. What team would do that? Maybe the Heat, maybe the Magic. Magic could do it. I'm trying to think who else in the West. I don't know if they would trade him in the West. I don't think he would go anywhere in the West unless the Rockets
Nowhere?
just get them, like you said, 3. They
3
give
of
them
them? I mean,
3 or 4 first rounders plus maybe Jalen Green.
I don't know. See, I can see the moving off Jalen Green part solely because of his postseason performance so far.
Yeah,
Like, he didn't even close out the last game against the Warriors.
no, he scored single digits in 3 of the 4 games. Not
Mm-hmm.
good. Not good. Now, if you're the Grizz, do you even want Jalen Green knowing that? Like, I don't know. Probably depends on how he closes out.
Well, if you are the Rockets, you're gonna have to blame it on some outside source of like why he's not in there. Oh, I mean, his leg was bummed up. Like, you're gonna have to try to push something else forward in order to try to make that trade happen. Because there's just gonna be a lot of red flags,
Yeah, no, I agree. So, yeah, I think we came up with some pretty good ideas. I think we will see some change in Memphis, whether it's Bane, Triple J, or Job. We have to see. Last but not least, unfortunately, the Heatles. Losing record, first time since I think 2018. Second time they've been swept under Coach Spo. The first time being, I think they got swept by Chicago back in 08. And now again. Definitely a roller coaster season, starting with losing to the Celtics in 5. Then Jimmy saying, if I play, we would have won. Then old man Pat saying, can't be saying shit if you ain't playing. That really irritated Jimmy. They didn't give him his extension. It irritated him even more. For some reason, they didn't think that he would not revert back to Minnesota Jimmy, Philadelphia Jimmy. Because of that, the whole fiasco about losing his joy and wanting to play anyone else but Miami, him getting traded, them going on a 10-game losing streak. I mean, the first double-digit losing streak under Coach Spo. Just a crazy season. Only bright spots, honestly, was Hero being an all-star and Ware getting some starting minutes beginning of the year and looking pretty good when Bam's out. So only 2 bright spots really. How would you grade the Heatles season, Lawrence? And what do you think needs to be done to get this team back on track?
Well, to get it back on track, I don't know. I think you got to blow it up. I don't
Blow
know.
it up.
There's just nothing there. Like, you only have 1 pick, so you can't pick up anything. There's no reason to bring Duncan Robinson back. All he does is shoot threes. Outside of that, like, do you really need him? You can find others to do that. And then you have no one to really bring back. And then, I mean, half your team's almost always out every game. I don't know. There's just a little. It just needs to be like a complete revamp, and you'll have to suffer the fact that you'll be bad for probably 1 or 2 years. You'll have to live with it. Like, no playoffs, no nothing. You're just gonna have to go through the same motions every other team does every few years. It's like a reset.
I can respect that. Unfortunately, I think the bottom of the East is way too bad for us to bottom out. So I think we're gonna be mid for a couple years until they hit the jackpot on a lottery pick, maybe, or maybe they trade for somebody. Some of the names we already spoke of, maybe they can trade for. Maybe they can swindle Memphis or Milwaukee or something. But yeah, it looks like they're gonna be mid unless. I mean, I think they're open to trading Hero or Bam if the offer is right. Bam said that there's going to be some big changes this year. I think he's pretty much pointing out to, this team is definitely not good enough. We can't keep using the same excuse like run it back. We have good enough players. Like, no, you got your ass beat. You lost by 50 plus. Like, no. You can't run it back losing by 55. Like, that's embarrassing. I mean, we can't keep doing the same thing and expect different results, right? That's insanity. So, for me, you probably try to move Hero or Bam if people are giving you the right price. Maybe not both, but definitely one of them. I'm leaning Bam, honestly, just because, bro, honestly, Bam, he's hard to play beside. There's only so many players that can play beside Bam. You see in the Olympics, Anthony Davis is one. So maybe the Mavs come calling and say, "Hey, we like those two in the Olympics. Let's try them out in Dallas." If they give us the rest of their picks, I'll take it. I'll take it. Um, maybe some other fits out there that I'm not thinking of right now, but I think Bam's probably would give you the biggest haul. And then you just got to hit on your draft picks. I think they've been doing a pretty good job. Ware's a good pickup. Jovic has his up and downs, but he looks like he's still a long term project. Hero, of course, a good pick. Bam, obviously a good pick. So they got some good picks in the draft recently. So, like you said, it might just got to be bad for a couple years. But the alternative is you got 3 first rounders on that you can trade on draft night. You make a swing for Trey or Giannis or even KD. Do you think that's enough to get them back on track?
No.
Still no, huh?
Just not really. No, I think you gotta move. At least, like you said, Bam or Hero.
Mm-hmm.
You're not gonna get much other than picks in return, and you'll just have to be bad for a little bit. But even that bad isn't even that bad when you're playing in the East. So you can always have that chance and that bright outlook that they're we're making the playoffs, woohoo! Because you're the 10 seed, but as a bad 10 seed, not a trying 10 seed.
Yeah, like I said, I don't think we're. I mean, we can look at the standings. Like the Wiz is still bad. The Hornets are really bad. The Sixers will be better next year, but it's all like, what if those three play together?
Brooklyn will be bad.
The Nets are going to be bad. So that's already 4 teams that you probably will be better with, even if you do trade Bam or Hero. So in my eyes, they're closer to contention than being at the bottom. I don't really think picking 7th or 8th is really going to help them too much. So best thing is maybe be mid for 1 year. Next year, just be mid, because there's no chance of you bottoming out. And then the following off season, maybe you swing for the fences. At that point, you probably will have 4 draft picks you can trade, and then just hope that Jovic or Hawkes or Ware really takes a big step and you can trade them. But yeah, other than that, I don't see a way out unless Trey or Giannis or KD specifically asked to be in Miami. Which, hey, it could happen, but I think the likelihood is that doesn't happen. Now, speaking of Pat, a lot of the heat's been going at him. A lot of the media and former players are blaming him for the situation in Miami. Would you tell Pat, if you're the owner, if you're Mickey Arison, would you tell Pat, hey, you got to go, you got to retire, or would you give him one more
of
chance
course.
to
Yeah,
fix it?
yeah. I don't need it. We've seen what he can do. There's no more you need to add. Just call it a day. What you need is to be young and cool, like the new league, teams are. You're not young and cool. You're like old and boring. It needs to be played a little better. I think you can get a little bit better. That fits with today's new. I don't think that's much of a question. I think that's like a guarantee in the off season, just based on everything that's come out.
Yeah, I agree. I think you tell him, hey, you can be an advisor, but at this point, you can't be the president, can't be making the decisions, or can't be having the final say. Honestly, they should try and get Bob Myers. I know he's been entertaining some offers out there. I think Bob Myers would love to rebuild the Heat. They got a lot of history, a lot of allure. So if you're coming from Golden State that won a bunch of championships, why not go to Miami and help them win more championships? He definitely can recruit players. He definitely knows how to run a front office efficiently. He got a young core. I think he might entertain it. What do you think, Bob Myers?
I don't know coaches in the NBA. I couldn't even fathom that with you.
Bob Myers is a GM. He's not a coach. I think he's the Warriors GM, the one that brought Kevin there, the one that drafted Steph and Draymond and all of them.
Hey, if you like it, I like it. I don't know anything about the GMs of the NBA. I just look at the players. Couldn't tell you anything about this, Bob Myers, but it seems like you really, really enjoy this one.
I respect him. That's about it. Yeah, I don't think Coach Bell wants to stop coaching anytime soon. So best bet's probably to try to get Bob Myers. But that's it. At least for the NBA recaps. We'll do some more next week. Of course, we'll get back to our NFL season recaps as well. We'll get back to those next weeks as well. Anything else before we head on out, Lawrence? Anything else we got to touch on?
No, I'm good today.
Fair enough. All right, folks. MTL Sports here, episode 159. Thank you for watching on YouTube, listening on Spotify, all that good stuff. We will catch you next week. Keep enjoying the NBA playoffs and NHL playoffs for that too. So see y'all soon. Peace.
Giving me wings.